it's just not really fair.
Our average salary is at
Right.
0.29% of the world.
If you think about it, most of what we fight about in society ultimately boils down to economics. We vehemently disagree about which policies will create jobs and affordable housing. We can't even agree on how to make sure we all have clean water to drink and breathable air.
Progressive taxes just means that as you get richer, you pay a higher percentage of your income in taxes.
It's the days before the COVID epidemic, and the Econ 150 class at Pima Community College is discussing how income and wealth get distributed in the U.S.
I'm Amy Kramer. I am the founder and president of Voices on the Economy, also known as the VOTE program. Our mission in the VOTE program is to inspire new solutions to our country's urgent economic problems by building a culture of respectful listening, passionate advocacy, and intelligent debate.
The idea for the VOTE program came to her after years of frustration with the way economics is normally taught, which is to only present one economic perspective. The VOTE program lines up the liberal, radical, and conservative points of view side by side. Participants compare the different ways each perspective tries to solve 13 economic problems: the spiraling federal debt, poverty among elders, lack of affordable health care, and more.
Money is not the thing we're after, right? What we're after is a quality of life and the life that we choose. You guys are conservatives, you guys are radicals, and you guys are liberals.
The VOTE program,
For this
it has no hidden agenda to convince people that one perspective is better than another. Kramer says the point is to help people understand the different options so they can come to their own conclusions about the best way forward for the nation.
I have the great honor and privilege of teaching students from all walks of life, which is fantastic. And the students that I get into my class often say, I have no idea what I think. This is what my parents think. I guess this is what I think. Or I have people who say, I am not going to participate at all. I have nothing to say. Or I have students who come in and are, leading the Occupy Tucson movement and have been arrested 11 times. Or I have students who come in and say, it's the free market that's going to fix it.
Kramer says disagreement isn't the problem. The real problem is partisan hostility. We've become a nation that shouts down and shuts out potentially brilliant ideas simply because they come from a different party.
It's impossible to be curious when you feel threatened, when you feel like a party is trying to take away your health care, trying to make it so that you can't breathe the air, trying to keep a roof from being over your head, trying to keep you from being able to feed your children. There's no way that human beings can respond to that kind of threat with curiosity. That's just not going to happen. What's going to happen is that you're going to consider the other as your enemy in that context.
She says when participants in the VOTE program can set their partisanship aside, they realize that all three perspectives actually share the same goals. They all want to create material well-being.
If you put the most diehard conservative and the diehard liberal and diehard democratic socialist in the same room, and you talked about what is your goal? What do you want? Do you want health care? Do you want water that you can drink? Do you want to have a world where we've eliminated poverty? Each one of them is going to say they absolutely want them.
Okay, what we can all agree on is that income inequality can cause social conflict. I think we've all seen that, right? And the goal that we share is that every single group, conservatives, radicals, and liberals, every group agrees that income should reward the contribution that a person makes.
And once you realize that perspectives have the same goal, but that they have very different ways of getting there, it opens up people's heart. People start to trust one another more.
The secret sauce the VOTE program uses to get people to start to trust one another more sounds easy, but it's actually a challenge. They do role plays and other activities to try on the words of the different perspectives. They have to speak aloud ideas they disagree with. They have to do it without sarcasm and with conviction.
They get assigned to represent different perspectives. And they wonder at the beginning, how am I possibly going to do this?
And so that's what we're talking about here. I want you to try on those words.
So even though my job doesn't pay much, I feel optimistic about my opportunities to rise because our nation has policies that level the playing field.
Right. So you see, you're just trying on those words to have them make sense from your perspective. So what I want you to do, find somebody in Europe, make eye contact, and say one thing as if you really mean it. So that you're trying on those words.
I deserve what I earn because I've made the countless personal sacrifices to achieve my success, and tax cuts reward me for being a hard worker and an entrepreneur.
By the way, this is actually a technique that's used in couples therapy. When partners mirror back what the other is saying, they start to feel more curiosity and empathy. Kramer says the same thing happens in the VOTE program, when participants try on the voices of all three perspectives.
That's the open door. That's the place where we all of a sudden say, whoa, you're not my enemy. Wait a minute. Every perspective actually wants to solve the problems. They just have very different ways of getting there.
On the last day of the semester, she asked participants how many changed their perspectives on at least one issue. She says in every class, it's well over 90%. For Rebecca Lee, who took the class in the summer, when the presidential election was just heating up, it wasn't that her perspective changed on an issue, but her feelings changed about people who support opposing perspectives.
I think I am less judgmental because I feel more curious about how their point of view came about and why they believe what they believe. And I think just having a more worldly view about other people's perspectives helped strengthen my own opinions.
Instead of becoming more entrenched, instead of slipping more deeply into our silos, we need to be curious about how each perspective is going about solving those problems.
But at the end of the day, the goal of the VOTE program is actually not to get everyone to see it the same way.
We won't unite in agreement. That's a reality of our human condition.
Surprisingly, Kramer doesn't think that's a problem. In fact, she sees it as an asset. She says we'll find those desperately needed new solutions to our urgent economic problems precisely because we have diverse ways of thinking about issues. When we can listen to competing perspectives with an open mind,
that combative debate that we live with becomes solution-focused conversation, and we set the foundation for innovative thinking to emerge.
But first, we need to listen and understand what the other perspectives are bringing to the table.
Let's be respectful in our listening. Let's be passionate in our advocacy and intelligent in our debate. If we do that, we launch into new ways of thinking.
Amy Kramer hopes the VOTE program will inspire the next great economic thinkers. She says we're due for a new way to think about building prosperity for the 21st century. Her vision of the VOTE program is that when we're free from material worry, we'll each be able to contribute our unique gifts, and society will reach its highest potential. For Arizona Spotlight, this is Hyewon Park.